Protestant Ethic and Spirit of Capitalism. So this theory is actually a clear-cut example of the use of ideal types. So it's here you can see the use of method of comparative analysis also. Comparative analysis means what he will do is there's a combination, and here in this theory you will see the use of causal pluralism also. Causal pluralism. So we are going to discuss about firstly ideal types that we have done, and then causal pluralism, comparative analysis along with this theory. So all these will be covered along with this theory. So first, as you see here, Protestant ethic. What he will do is he will develop the ideal types of this religion, Protestant ethic. Okay, and then he developed the ideal type of capitalism. What do you mean by ideal type? You know, these are regularities, these are abstractions. And then he will make a comparison, he will compare. And this is what you call as basically comparative analysis. That's it, very simple. So if the question is asked about comparative analysis, it is basically this theory is what you need to write and how he compared this, and that you need to explain with this example. That is how you can answer that particular question if it is asked on comparative analysis. So that is what we are going to see. See, firstly, Weber raises a question. If you see in modern Europe, most of the capitalists, most of the technocrats, most of the people who have good job, most of the business people, entrepreneurs, very well qualified professional, all are from a particular religion. That is from Protestantism. And it is not a historical fact. It is a contemporary fact also. So he observed this and he tried to identify, is there any correlation between Protestantism and capitalism? And that's all about this theory. And for that, what he did is he constructed ideal types of Protestantism and ideal types of capitalism. So ideal types of Protestantism on one side and ideal types of capitalism on the other side. So we will see that what are the ideal types. So now Protestantism is having different sect within that sectarian ideology. He chose the most common among them, that is Calvinism. Okay, and Calvinism is considered as having most commonly understood element. So when we discuss about ideal type, what is that? It is a commonly understood elements. So when you take the ideal types of Protestantism, there are many sects. Okay, sect means different groups are there. So take the most elementary one, Calvinism. Like if you remember, when we discuss about Durkheim theory of religion also, we have discussed the simple forms of religion. Exactly is the same here also, simple form. And the elements of Calvinism that you can see here, these are the ideal types of Protestant ethic. So first one, what type of ethics are to be followed? Like God created the world for its own glory. So this is the first point that you need to write, own glory, and he is unknowable. You don't know God, okay, and no mediation of priest can help to know the God. So the priest, why you are paying to priest and everything, that is of no use. No priest can mediate. No priest can help you to know God. He is unknowable. He created the world for his own glory. This is the first concept related to the Protestantism. And then doctrine of predestination. Doctrine of predestination means your destiny that is already fixed. Okay, whether you will enter into heaven or not, it is already fixed. So God has already chosen some people to enter into heaven. Now you can't do anything with that. So that is what you mean by doctrine of predestination. This worldly asceticism, that is another concept. It suggests strict self-discipline, simple lifestyle, and no enjoyment, hard work for the glory of God, etc. So these are the concepts related to this worldly asceticism. Notion of calling means the work is sacred and it is not a mere work, it is a calling. So the work that you are doing is considered as calling or mission from the God. For example, you are preparing for civil service exam, it should be treated as a calling from the God. Okay, and I am teaching, I should be treating this as a calling from the God, and it is a mission. It should be taken as a mission and should be done with devotion. That is what notion of calling. So these are the 4 different elements he identified from Protestant ethic. Okay, so it is very easy to remember. Own glory, that means the God created the world for own glory and he is unknowable. Priests have no role. There is no point in going and paying to priest. He cannot help you. Secondly, doctrine of predestination, your destiny. That means whether you are going to enter into heaven or not, it is already fixed. Now no priest can help you in this regard. Nothing can be done. This worldly asceticism, it promotes strict self-discipline and the notion of calling. you can see it treat work as sacred. Okay, so now he will construct the ideal types of capitalism, and while considering the ideal types of capitalism, he take the modern capitalism where the production is rationally organized. Okay, so these are the ideal types. You can see here whatever I have underlined, this is what you need to remember. It is based on profit motive, and wealth is more important, high level of individualism, and various ethics are there in capitalism, like work should be done well, time is money, worker is the means to an end, work is worship. I repeat, it is an economic system which aims at unlimited accumulation of profit through rational organization of production. So that's the first point related to capitalism. Wealth is to be used for not for enjoyment but for making more wealth. You can connect it with what? That this one, doctrine of not predestination, this one, this worldly asceticism. There also it is self-discipline. Capitalism honors individualism, hard work, innovation, profit motives, etc. And some ethics in capitalism, work should be done well. Like this can be connected with notion of calling. Time is money, work is worship, right? So you can now itself, you can see some connections. Now this you can remember WIPE. Just remember this code word so that it will be easy for you. Okay, so the wealth, then individualism, then profit and ethics. So these 4 keywords will actually help you to remember. So this 4 also you need to remember, and this also you need to remember. Now only one thing is required, is just remember this diagram. Okay, so I'll explain that. The doctrine of predestination. Doctrine of predestination means what? Your destiny is already fixed. Whether you are going to enter into heaven or not, it is already fixed. So what will happen? There will be insecurity and tension among the followers. So there will be insecurity and tension among followers. So I hope you understood this part. The first point, doctrine of predestination. So since destiny is fixed, you don't know whether you are going to enter into heaven or not. So there is an insecurity. So that lead to feeling of anxiety and loneliness among the followers. Okay, so you will feel loneliness because of this insecurity and tension. Now what you will do is you will do hard work. Why you do hard work at this stage is because if you are successful in this world, that is actually an indication that you have been chosen by God. If you have been chosen by God to enter into heaven, you will become successful in this world. So people try to become successful in this world, and people try to work so hard. So there will be intense worldly activity as success was taken as an indicator of being chosen or not. So I hope you understood why you are working hard. Why you are working hard? Because if you can prove yourself in this world, if you are successful in this world, that is actually an indication that you have been chosen by God. And this will act as the spirit. This will act as the spirit. Now along with this, spirit alone will not do. Okay. Now similarly, this worldly asceticism and notion of calling also will promote savings, because no enjoyment, self-discipline, reinvestment, devotion to work, right? Notion of calling is talking about devotion to work. This worldly asceticism, self-discipline, reinvestment, etc. So these ethics also will act as the spirit. So I can say Protestant ethic act as the spirit to capitalism. But spirit alone is not enough, right? You need substance. You need substance. And at that time, substance was in the form of new factory system, new accounting technique, new tools, machinery, new political system. All these were available. So when the spirit is there, that you are ready to work hard, you are ready for investment, savings, devotion. At the same time, the material condition was also in support of you. Okay, you can take it as your own example. You want to become this, right? IAS, IPS. Now, you will work hard. Okay, so why this hard work? Because you want to become this, and you may want the uniform, or you want that beacon car, or whatever it is. There are a lot of motivations for you. So that will act as what? Spirit. But spirit alone is not enough, right? You need what? You need good teachers, you need good materials, you need good test series, you need good mentor, and all these things are required. Okay, so materials, teachers, mentors, etc. So if spirit is there, yeah, you are ready to work hard. But if this is not there, you cannot become. Okay. Secondly, if you talk about this, you have money, you have good teachers, you have good materials, you have everything, but you don't have the spirit. Still, you cannot become IAS IPS officer, right? What you need? you need both. You need spirit as well as substance. This is what Weber says causal pluralism. This is one of the cause, and this is also required at this time. So multiple causes are there. So capitalism, you can compare it with yourself, IAS, IPS. This you can compare. So from where the spirit comes, you know, you have the spirit, that's why you're attending the classes. And if this kind of classes and all is not there, how you're going to study sociology? You cannot do that. Okay, so if substance is not there, you will struggle. Similarly, I am there, the teachers are there, the material is there, everything is there, you are not ready to attend the class, then also you cannot become. So if both are there, then you will reach your goal. That's exactly what in case of capitalism also. So the religion gave the required spirit, and at that time the material condition was in support to them. That acted as the substance. For example, he conducts study on China also. In China, what happens is the Confucius religion. Okay, China is having good population, good area, good economy, and very prosperous. So in China, you can see what is there, substance is there. But the Confucius ethic, that promote traditionalism, family obligations, etc. So in China, spirit was absent. So Weber says capitalism did not arise in China. Similarly, he conducts study about Indian religion also. In India also very well developed economy, that means substance is there. But in India, the traditionalism, again the Hindu religion is based on karma, dharma, punarjanma concept and otherworldly asceticism. So spirit was absent. So in India also, capitalism did not arise because spirit was absent. In China also spirit was absent, though substance was present. For example, you have the teachers, you have the materials, you have the test series, everything available. But if you don't have the spirit, you cannot become. The same thing. And in the context of Judaist religion, they have the spirit. Their religion have the spirit. Okay, Jew religion have the spirit, promote capitalism, but some historical factors scattered them. That means substance was not there, spirit was there. So, what Weber says, not only one cause, this is also required. In China, this was not there, this was there. In India, spirit was not there, substance was there. In Jew, substance was not there, but spirit was there. Okay, so if you want to become an IAS officer or IPS officer, you need this and this. You are ready to work hard, but that alone is not enough if this is not there. Or if this is there, entire setup is there, online, all the teachers, all the materials, everything is there. But you are not ready to work, you cannot become. Both come together, then you will crack IAS. That's exactly, you can explain this theory, very simple. I'll read this PDF and then you will understand. Then if any doubt is there, we can still discuss. In modern Europe, business leaders, owners of capital, as well as the higher technologically and commercially trained personnel of modern enterprise are predominantly Protestants. Further, he says it's not only a contemporary fact but a historical fact also. Weber's theory of Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism is widely known for his demonstration for the possibility of use of scientific methods in sociology. Okay, so what are the methods that you can see here? Firstly, you can see the concept of ideal type. Then you can see the concept of comparative analysis. How comparative analysis? Two ideal types, right? The ideal types of Protestant ethic and ideal types of capitalism, he is comparing. So you can see there is a comparative analysis over there. And then you can see the concept of causal pluralism or causal probabilism. And in this study, Weber examines macro phenomena using a micro perspective. What is that macro phenomena? The macro phenomena is the capitalism. What is that micro perspective? That the meanings attached by the people to the action, right? You can see that here directly, right in that diagram. The meanings, the doctrine of predestination, the destiny is already fixed, so it will lead to insecurity and tension in the minds of the followers. So that is the meanings. And then people started thinking that if you're successful in this world, that is an indication of that you being chosen by the God. So these are the meanings which are developed in the minds of the people. And this meaning resulted in what? Capitalism, which is a macro perspective. So can I say he is explaining a macro concept, which is capitalism, by using a micro concept that is a meaning which is attached by the people. And that's exactly his approach and his perspective. So I hope, if not clear here, never ever, any book, any teacher, not possible. Weber establishes a positive correlation between Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism in terms of causal pluralism, right? So Protestant ethic on one side and capitalism on the other side. What do you mean by this causal pluralism? He talked not only about the spirit, he is also talking about substance. Spirit alone will not be the reason. Substance is also required. And for that example, I have given you China, India, and also Jew. By using an empirical observation, Weber raises a question. The individual in the statement are representatives of capitalism in Europe. The fact that these representatives are predominantly from Protestant lead one to think that is there any positive correlation between Protestantism and capitalism. In order to do so, Weber uses the method of ideal types. He developed ideal types of both phenomena independently. So he developed ideal type of Protestant ethic and capitalism. So can you tell me Protestant ethic quickly? The own glory. So no priest can help you. And then this worldly asceticism. Then doctrine of predestination and notion of calling. This is very easy to remember. Capitalism, you can remember this vibe, right? This is wealth, individualism, profit, and various ethics like time is precious, worker is a mean to an end, etc. Work is sacred. Easy to remember. Ideal types of Protestant ethic. You can see as Protestantism contained multiple and diverse sectarian ideology, Weber chose the most common and the basic of all, that is Calvinism. Calvinism is considered having most commonly understood element of Protestant faith given by John Calvin. And the elements are on glory, doctrine of predestination, this worldly asceticism, notion of calling. And then ideal types of capitalism. While studying capitalism, Weber examines both traditional and modern capitalism. Modern capitalism is based on rational organization of production. Thus, after examining in detail, Weber identified certain common elements of the spirit of capitalism. What are they? Vibe, profit, wealth, individualism, and various ethics like work should be done well, time is money, worker is the means to an end, and work is worship. And in order to establish the correlation between these two, Weber take up a comparative analysis. So this is the comparative analysis. This diagram shows the comparative analysis. Okay. So he compare this Protestantism, this and this with this capitalism. That's what comparative analysis. So doctrine of predestination. Because of that, you don't know heaven. It is already fixed. So insecurity and tension, feeling of anxiety and loneliness among the followers, that lead to intense worldly activity as success. If you're successful in this world, that is considered as actually an indicator of being chosen by the God to enter into heaven, and that acted as a spirit. In the same way, this worldly asceticism and notion of calling also acted as a spirit, but spirit alone will not do. At this time, the substance was also present in terms of new factory system, new accounting techniques, new tools, all this. There's a repetition. I don't think that you need to read this and you need to reproduce this. Okay. Only thing what you need is that diagram. If that is there in your mind, you can write it. So doctrine of predestination resulted in insecurity and tension in the minds of the followers. This led to the feeling of anxiety and loneliness. According to Weber, this led to intense worldly activity by the followers as success was considered as an indicator of being chosen. This led to much needed hard work required for the rise of capitalism. According to Weber, this was the most probable meaning which people would have generated, as the other possible meanings have not been recorded in the past. Similarly, this worldly asceticism promotes savings and reinvestment and thereby promoting capitalism. Notion of calling also helped the capitalism in the similar manner. In this way, Weber was able to develop a correlation between Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism. Further, Weber understood this correlation in terms of elective affinity. That is, the Protestant ethic have elements which seems to have tendencies for promoting capitalism. As one of the most important pillars of Weber's methodology, that is causal pluralism or causal probabilism, what is that? The spirit and substance itself. Weber further analyzes to identify other causes also. See, this you can explain in the theory of social action also. For example, when you do an action, Weber says the action is not necessarily because of one meaning. It can be other meaning also. That's why he gave the ideal types of action and 4 different meanings. That is again causal pluralism only. Okay, so all these things, it's not stick to this, you should not stick to this. Everything has to be explained everywhere, whatever is, whenever is possible, and that will be a good approach because you need very limited content. Weber further he gave the idea of spirit and substance to increase the probability of causes. Protestant ethic provided the spirit to capitalism, but the whole process was also made possible by the existence of substance. During that period, the substance required for capitalism was in the form of new factory system, new accounting and democratic political system, which gives individual the much required freedom. So I hope this theory is very clear to you. Now, in case of China and India, he's explaining here. Weber further tries to validate this correlation with the help of historical comparative studies of various other world religions. He developed ideal types of different religion followed in different countries, and by comparison he proved that why capitalism did not arise in those countries. In his book Religion of China, he concluded that despite the presence of a substance in the form of developed economy, trade and commerce, the Confucius ethics did not permit the rise of capitalism as its thrust on traditionalism, collective harmony, and family obligations. Thus, in China, substance was present but spirit was absent. This is what more important for you. You don't want to write all these things, okay? And then in the study of religion of India, he concluded that the idea of karma, dharma, and punarjanma prevented the rise of capitalism as its importance on otherworldly asceticism. Similar to China, substance was present in India but not the spirit. Like you have all the materials and teachers and trainers, but you don't have the spirit. Simple. Further, in the study of religion of Judaism, Weber concluded that Judaic ethic might have permitted the rise of capitalism, but certain historical factors scattered the Jews. Thus, no substance was present, although spirit was there. Again, if you have all the motivation but you don't have money, or you don't have a mentor or a trainer or a teacher or materials or anything, then substance is not there with you, but you have all the spirit. But again, you cannot become. So from this study, it is clear that Weber understands both religion as well as a type of economic system as constituting certain set of social actions based on the meanings attached by the people, right? So capitalism is based on what? Meanings attached by the people for those ideal types that we have discussed connected to the Protestant ethic, and people do certain actions. So capitalism, he explained through that. His construction of ideal types should also be understood in those terms. Actions taken by individuals engaged in capitalism based on the meanings which people ultimately drew from where? Protestant ethic. So that's about this theory. It's a very simple theory. Only thing that you need to remember is what? You know the concept of ideal type already. So 4 ideal types that we have discussed. I repeat that in case of Protestant ethic 4, in terms of capitalism also 4 ideal types. So you can talk about on glory. So God is unknowable and no mediation of priest can help you to know God. Predestination, and then what? This worldly asceticism, and then notion of calling. So these are the 4. And in capitalism, you remember this: wealth, individualism, profit, and what are the various ethics? Time is money, etc. And then you make this diagram and explain that. See, I've seen some of you are just making the diagram in your answers, but diagram alone will not do. Mostly you need to write the answer. This is just to supplement it. But I don't think that you need to read this. It is exactly the same. If you can see this diagram, if you can explain this diagram from here, then you're done. And that's what you need to do. Yeah, that's it. That's about the theory.
Excuse me, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, how he come on the conclusion that everything is fixed? I mean, destiny is fixed.
No, it is the belief of that particular religion. It is not Weber's conclusion. It is the belief in that particular religion. Protestantism, they believe that your destiny is fixed. It is their belief only. But in Catholic religion, that is not the case. In Catholicism, they believe in the priest also, and they don't believe in that such destiny is fixed. They go and they will, even in case of any sins that they do in this world, they go to the priest, and the priest can mediate also, right? Confessions are there, but that is not there in Protestantism. Tell me, Anjali.
Sir, but religion, Protestant it tells that everything is fixed, destiny is fixed.
Hmm.
But in religion, it is religion, right? In one word, we can say that it is ideal religion.
Hmm.
But religion also tells people how they pure themselves, like how
Yeah,
they
but different
then.
religions have different elements. No, Islam and Christianity both are different. Although some common elements will be there. So in that context, Protestantism is different in certain aspects, and this is one of that.
Hello, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, for the sake of knowing, how Judaism allows the spirit, sir?
No, in Jews ethics, I don't know about Judaism, religion, their things, but it is there in theory. So I'm teaching. We don't want to get into that, no. So you see
Just for the sake of knowing, because it is.
even now also, if you see who are the Israel and how these people are doing, these are the biggest capitalists now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, is ideal type subject to reality or not, or it is only imaginative?
It is both what is seen in reality as well as what is expected to be. Both are part of ideal types. Ideal types are abstractions. It can be both. Yeah, Gaurang, tell me.
Sir, from the insecurity and tension, how can we connect this to the checkered social action? Because I can't find that here is any rational social action. Because after that insecurity and tension, they started thinking about their individual goal and they come to the capitalism. So how can you connect to this and right in your answer?
No, I did not understood what you're saying. Can you speak close to the mic?
Yes, sir, there's certain problem in mind. Sir, actually, after the insecurity and tension.
After the?
After the insecurity and tension, which
No. I didn't get you. After the which word that you're using?
Sir, as you explained the process that the doctrine of predestination they started feeling figure, and then they started thinking about their anxiety and they started to do hard work. All these things are going to the Jacob social action, right, sir? We are going to explain to the capitalism. I think this process is going to the Jacob social action rather the average rational action. So how we can write these steps in the answers to connect to them?
I'm not able to understand what you're saying. I'm so sorry. Can you? I don't know. So half of the thing are missing. It is scattered. So can anyone else? Can anyone else explain that what he asked? Or guy, tell me.
Sir, on that, sir, after the doctrine of predestination.
Yes, doctrine of predestination, and then.
What we thought, what is that total